Let's get started with our first news. The MMA community has been absolutely roasting Michael Chandler after his latest comments about wanting to fight Conor. With Conor officially back in the UFC's testing pool, Chandler has once again grown optimistic that their long-discussed matchup could finally take place. During an interview with MMA Fighting this week, Chandler said he believes the fight is closer than ever, admitting, "I've always said if you're a betting man, don't put money on him necessarily coming back, but now this changes things a lot. In my heart of hearts, I think I'm fighting Conor at the White House, and that makes a ton of sense for a multitude of reasons. First and foremost, I want the White House." Chandler went on to explain that he and Conor have some unfinished business. He claimed there's mutual respect between the two, but added that Conor has expressed interest in facing him several times. He referenced when Conor posted an AI-generated image of the two squaring off, as well as a tweet where Conor said they had unfinished business. For Chandler, that's all the confirmation he needs. But fans were quick to fire back. The MMA community filled social media with harsh reactions. One fan shared a meme mocking Chandler's obsession, writing, "I've never seen a fighter so obsessed with having one particular fight. Nobody besides him wants to see this." Another fan didn't hold back either, saying, "If this dork had an ounce of self-awareness, he'd go away. Nobody cares about that fight. The real fight fans want is Conor versus Nate for the third time." Others agreed, pointing out that Conor versus Nate 3 would make far more sense. One fan even joked, "Conor versus Nate on the White House lawn is the fight to make." Another jabbed Chandler directly, suggesting he sandbagged his last couple fights just to make sure he didn't look too much like a threat to Conor. The criticism only grew sharper. A fan replied, "I've gone from laughing at the patheticness of Chandler constantly groveling for the McGregor fight, to now thinking the man seriously needs professional help. He's obsessed." Another wrote, "Bro, you're not that guy anymore. Stop acting like this fight would be for the fans. The only person interested is you because of the huge paycheck." Others pointed out that this fight could have been entertaining years ago, but now both fighters are past their prime. A few years back, sure, it would have been fun, but not anymore. Both guys are washed, one fan said bluntly. Chandler's relentless pursuit of this matchup has shifted from amusing to concerning in the eyes of many fans. While some believe he's simply doing what any smart fighter would, chasing the biggest money fight, others feel his obsession has cost him credibility and respect. The idea of a White House showdown sounds more like a fantasy than a realistic UFC booking, but Chandler refuses to let go of the dream. Whether the UFC entertains it or not, the community has made it clear this is not the fight most people want. Fans would rather see Conor in a trilogy with Nate, or matched against someone who makes sense for his current career stage. As for Chandler, he remains laser-focused on a fight that the majority of the MMA world thinks should never happen. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We're constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That's why we'd truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Move on to another news. The MMA community has been reacting heavily to the shocking news of Raja Jackson's arrest. With this story now public, many are questioning how it even took this long. Some fans pointed out that the evidence was overwhelming from the start, with video footage circulating online and hundreds of witnesses present. One reaction summed it up bluntly, "The only question here is what on earth took them so long? This wasn't something that needed months of investigation or extra witnesses. It was all right there in front of everyone." Others turned their focus to Rampage Jackson, wondering whether he will step in to bail Raja out. Many fans are hoping he doesn't, arguing that Raja deserves real consequences for his actions. "I'm hoping Rampage doesn't immediately bail him out. He deserves at least a year or two before even thinking about release. He nearly ended a man's life and traumatized everyone watching," one fan wrote. The sentiment was echoed by others who felt that shielding Raja from responsibility would only damage his future more. The community was especially vocal about how this incident has destroyed Raja's reputation. A number of fans expressed disbelief that he would risk his career over something so petty. One comment captured the mood perfectly. "He torpedoed his career and reputation by beating a wrestler unconscious, all because his pride was bruised over a work beer can spot." That reaction highlighted how fans believe this entire situation was avoidable, but instead Raja's actions have left a permanent stain on his name. Another major criticism came down to the delay in the legal response. Fans were outraged that despite clear video evidence and multiple witnesses, it still took a full month for an arrest to be made. One comment put it sharply, video evidence and hundreds of witnesses, and it still took them weeks to act. Absolutely ridiculous. Many believe the slow process made the situation even worse, fueling more negativity toward Raja and drawing further embarrassment to his family name. Overall, the MMA community has shown little sympathy for Raja Jackson. To them, his choices were reckless, selfish, and damaging, not only to himself but also to the sport's image. What could have been a promising future now looks like a story of wasted potential, all because of a single night that spiraled out of control. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev may be the favorite going into his next fight, but not everyone is convinced he will walk away with the win. On November 15 at UFC 322, Makhachev moves up to challenge JDM for the welterweight title at Madison Square Garden in New York. The Dagestani star is widely regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, but several well-known names believe JDM is the man to hand him a shocking defeat. Former UFC welterweight Jake Ellenberger has already made his pick, stating confidently that JDM will beat Makhachev. He believes the matchup heavily favors the Australian, and that Makhachev's usual dominance won't hold up against someone of JDM's skill and size. Ellenberger isn't alone in that prediction. Ian Machado Gary has also weighed in, and although he has great respect for Makhachev, he thinks the outcome will surprise the world. During an interview with MMA Knockout on Sports Illustrated, Gary explained why he believes JDM has the edge. He said, "I would want to be there. I'd want to see it in real time because real time is different to the TV. Stylistically, it's a great fight. Islam is phenomenal everywhere, and he's only getting better everywhere, but so is Jack. And I just feel like the size difference matters. JDM couldn't physically make 55, and I genuinely believe he has the opportunity to knock Islam out." That size advantage has become one of the main talking points leading into the fight. JDM is a true welterweight with knockout power, and Gary feels that could be the deciding factor. He believes Makhachev's technical skills won't be enough if he can't handle the power coming his way. Carlos Prates has also joined the list of fighters backing JDM. The Brazilian fighter thinks the Australian underdog has a clear path to victory if he follows the right strategy. Prates broke it down, explaining that with the right game plan, JDM can shut down Makhachev's wrestling and create the openings he needs on the feet. He sees JDM's boxing pace and composure as the keys to pulling off what would be one of the biggest upsets in recent UFC history. With Ellenberger, Gary, and Prates all siding with the Australian, momentum outside the cage seems to be leaning toward JDM. While Makhachev remains the betting favorite, there's a growing belief that the Aussie's power, size, and striking could be the difference maker. If JDM can stop Makhachev's relentless pressure and land clean, the welterweight champion might just shock the world at Madison Square Garden. Move on to another news. Arman and Benson Henderson may come from completely different eras of MMA, but at ACBJJ 18 on September 19, 2025, their paths finally crossed. It wasn't inside the UFC octagon, but rather on the grappling mats where both men showcased their submission skills. Henderson, a former UFC lightweight champion, had long since moved on from the promotion by the time Arman began his rise. While Henderson was competing in Bellator and building his legacy, Arman was making his way toward UFC contention. Now Henderson has retired from MMA, while Arman stands just on the edge of a UFC title shot. Despite their different timelines, both have a shared passion for grappling competition, and ACBJJ gave fans a chance to see this intriguing matchup. The match began with Arman immediately pushing the pace. He snapped Henderson down early and attacked a guillotine choke, forcing Henderson to defend hard and escape. Henderson, ever the veteran, pulled guard and tried to slow things down, but when he attempted to wrestle up from half guard, Arman pounced on a dark choke. Henderson fought his way free, and Arman transitioned to the back, but Henderson once again managed to scramble back to guard. Arman didn't let up. Using a deep underhook, he passed guard and quickly started attacking Henderson's arm with a straight arm lock. Henderson defended well, forcing Arman to switch sides to maintain control, but Arman stayed in charge of the exchanges. Henderson attempted to wrestle up again, only to find himself caught in yet another front headlock. This time, Arman transitioned much quicker to the back, securing both hooks and locking in a rear naked choke over Henderson's jaw. Henderson showed his toughness, fighting his way free from both the choke and back control, and managing to reset in guard. The battle continued as Henderson tried to wrestle up once more, but again Arman snapped him into a headlock. Henderson stood up, shot in, and was driven to his back by Arman, who wasted no time in advancing position. In the transition, Arman locked up a tight arm triangle choke. With precision, he passed Henderson's guard and tightened the submission. This time there was no escape. Henderson struggled for a few seconds before going unconscious, giving Arman a dominant submission victory. The performance was a statement for Arman, who showed not only his relentless pressure but also his diverse submission arsenal. Every time Henderson tried to reset, Arman was right there, chaining one attack into another, never allowing the veteran a chance to breathe. The match was a reminder of why Arman is considered one of the brightest grappling threats in MMA today. For fans, it was a rare chance to watch two generations of elite fighters test their skills in a pure grappling environment. Henderson showed his resilience and experience, but it was Arman's youth, pressure, and relentless transitions that ultimately proved to be too much. By the end, Arman left no doubt, putting Henderson to sleep with a textbook arm triangle choke and securing one of the most talked about finishes of the night. Move on to another news. The debate over who should face Ilya next continues to heat up, and now another UFC veteran has spoken out, urging Dana White to give Justin Gaethje the opportunity. Ever since Ilya shocked the world at UFC 317 by knocking out Charles Oliveira and becoming a two-division champion, speculation has been non-stop about who the first challenger should be. Ilya's face-off with Paddy Pimblett suggested the Scouser might have the inside track, while many argue that Arman is the most deserving contender. On top of that, Justin Gaethje's hint at retirement has thrown even more uncertainty into the mix. A variety of big names have made their opinions known. Islam Makhachev has voiced his support for Arman, while Bisping suggested Pimblett as the logical next fight for Ilya. But Michael Chiesa has now made it clear he believes Justin Gaethje should get the shot. During an appearance on the Bonefire podcast hosted by Mike Bone, Chiesa explained why he thinks the highlight deserves the chance despite his recent setbacks. Gaethje's loss to Max Holloway at UFC 300 has been the main argument against him stepping into a title fight, but Khamzat doesn't believe that should disqualify him. In his eyes, what Gaethje has done for the sport, the promotion, and the fans is more than enough to earn one final shot at UFC gold. There are some people saying it's gonna be Paddy, Khamzat said. I've heard it could be Paddy, and I've heard it could be Justin. For me as a fighter, a big part of me feels like, you know what? Give Justin Gaethje the title fight, because we only have him for a little while longer. Chiesa went further, pointing out the risks Gaethje has already taken for the UFC. He took a huge chance when he fought Max, Chiesa continued. Whether the UFC promised him something or not, nobody knows the truth except Justin. But you know what? Just give the guy the fight. He earned it. He has earned it in blood. He has earned it through his efforts, through everything he has given us and everything he has left in the cage. He has given us things he will never get back. For Chimaev, this isn't about rankings or marketing, it's about respect. It's about acknowledging the sacrifices Gaethje has made throughout his career, the wars he's been through, and the entertainment he has delivered every single time he steps inside the octagon. Chimaev closed his thoughts by making it clear that while the Paddy fight will always be there, Gaethje doesn't have the luxury of time. The Paddy fight is always going to be there because those guys have youth on their side, Chimaev said. Justin Gaethje doesn't. For him, the solution is simple. Just give Gaethje the fight. He's earned it. Move on to another news. Bas Rutten is pushing hard for Jon Jones vs. Tom Aspinall as the UFC White House main event. Earlier in the week, reports surfaced that Dana White wasn't too keen on having Jones headline the upcoming historic card at the White House. But from Rutten's perspective, there's no better fight to lead such a groundbreaking event than Jones against Aspinall. He explained in an interview with Bloody Elbow that for him, every champion should be represented on this card, and the fight that makes the most sense is Aspinall versus Jones. Rutten laid it out clearly. He said if Jones commits, he commits. That's the kind of fighter he is, and for a card at the White House, this isn't just another event. This is history, a one-time deal that might never happen again. Rutten added that maybe in the future another president who loves fighting will host something similar, but for now, this is the very first time. The spotlight would be massive, the attention global, and the entire world would be watching. In Rutten's eyes, Jones is possibly the greatest fighter ever. He emphasized that if the UFC can meet Jones's demands, then the stage is set for something unforgettable. He hopes Jones gets the money he feels he deserves, because a fight like this at a venue like this is nothing short of monumental. According to Rutten, if Jones steps up and signs, the fight writes itself. Of course, Dana's hesitation isn't without reason. Reports indicate that the UFC already tried to meet Jones's financial requests for the Aspinall fight, but Jones balked at the deal. That uncertainty is what has White holding back on committing Jones as the headliner. Still, Rutten believes this is exactly the kind of fight the UFC needs for such a historic event. The idea of hosting a fight card at the White House is unprecedented. It's never been done before. The symbolism alone would make it one of the most talked about cards in MMA history, with the heavyweight division always carrying an aura of spectacle. Putting Jones and Aspinall together under that spotlight would be the ultimate main event. Rutten knows the magnitude of this opportunity, and that's why he keeps stressing that every champion should be on that card. For Rutten, Jones vs. Aspinall is not only the right fight, it's the fight that could define the event itself. A true once-in-a-lifetime moment where the UFC, the fighters, and the fans come together in a way that transcends the sport. If Jones steps forward and the UFC makes it happen, history will be made in the most dramatic way possible.